Hello. No, not yet. Uh-uh.
We're gonna be sideways.
Are we?
Mm-hmm.
The camera's doing us this way.
No, we'll be sideways for them though. That's fine.
Are
They
you?
can they can turn their phone if they want to see it this.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty certain.
I don't. Oh, it didn't work anyway. Why doesn't it cancel? Oh, all right. All right. I'll just leave it. I don't want to be sideways. Okay. Anywho, welcome. Hello. We are live, as you can see. So it is 6:30. Gonna get started. And we are outside today. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday with Walking in Wellness. I'm Coach Yvette. I am here to help you to live healthy and encourage you to age naturally. I'm joined again with my co-host, Kyle, my son. And last week we did a Q&A. So if you missed that, then you can catch that in the reels. This week we're going to be talking about the myths of the sun. So there are
The
myths.
world is flat, people.
There are myths and misconceptions regarding the sun about its health for us. And we're going to kind of bust some of those myths and give you some of the benefits of it. So the reason why we're talking about the sun is because the importance that vitamin D plays to our health. It is a vitamin that we absorb through our skin, and it is beneficial to our skin as well as our bones and our immune system. So our overall health is dependent upon this vitamin, and the main way that we obtain it and receive it is through sunshine, through our skin. And so we're going to talk about some of the myths related to that. There are 3 areas that I'm going to talk about. 1 with sunscreen, 2 being sunburn, and then 3 we're going to get into vitamin D. So whether you are new to your wellness journey or you've been on it for a while, whether you want to lose weight or you just want better improved overall health, you are in the right spot for our Wellness Wednesday, and we are going to get going. So dealing with sunscreen, the myth and misconception. What is the first myth?
Well, I had a question. I
Yes.
guess it ties into the myth,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, not everyone has the same like amount of sun exposure and stuff. Like Columbus can be overcast a lot, and I recently like moved to LA where it's more sunny. I would think I have to wear more sunscreen out there, but do people in like LA, I'm sorry, do people in Columbus or Seattle or places where it's not sunny all the time, do they still have to worry about sunscreen?
Actually, it's a myth that you don't have to wear or worry about sunscreen when it's a cloudy day or if you live in an area that it has. Whether it is cloudy or whether it is brightly sunlit, there are UV rays that are always present. And because of the UV, it is important that we are taking steps to protect our skin and make sure that we are if we're out there in any prolonged time frame, that we are making sure that the UV is not negatively affecting our skin. So even though it may be cloudy or even though it may be not as a bright sunny day, make sure that you are still taking those same steps for sunscreen protection.
Okay.
What would myth number 2 possibly be?
So myth number 2: dark-skinned individuals don't need to worry about sunburn.
I would say a not really to this. I don't want to say a harsh false. I'll say not really. That's not really true. Dark-skinned individuals, or if you're melanated, we thrive in the sunshine, and it is essential for health. And so sunshine is always going to be great if you are melanated, but we do have to make sure that we're cognizant of the fact that UV rays are present, and that we want to make sure that we are keeping our skin tones in all shades protected from anything that might be harmful from the sun rays. So although the sun rays are still coming down, the UV rays, we want to get what's good from the sun, but also reduce any exposure to what's harmful. So if you are melanated, I would say yes, you do need sunscreen, not in the same fashion or the same strength that possibly someone who has a lighter tone version for yourself. The best SPF as well as the level of coverage that you would need. So myth number 3, what might that be?
So does the sunscreen, well, okay, so the myth would be like that sunscreen prevents vitamin D like absorption, right?
I would say overall this is false. False. Sunscreen does not prevent your absorption of the vitamin D, but it can reduce it. So again, if you're melanated, you want to make sure that you are thriving in that sunshine and you're receiving what you need. If you are of a lighter tone, you may need a little bit more protection. And so what sunscreen does is it reduces the absorption of the sunshine and the vitamin D. It does not block it altogether. So you're still going to receive the benefits of it, but just pay attention to the level of screening that you're using so that you don't hinder that absorption that your body naturally will have by being in the sunshine.
Myth number 4 is you can't get sunburn on a windy day or when it's like when you're in the shade. You can't get it. You can't get sunburn in the shade, right?
Okay, so now we're going to move into sunburn as our second topic of a myth. And myth number 4, you can get sunburn even though it may be a cloudy day or if you're in the shade. And so this kind of reiterates what we were talking about a little bit earlier, that you would still need sunscreen on a day that has overcast or a day that is not as brightly lit because the UV rays that are present. So whether it is brightly sunshine like today, or if it is going to be a little bit of an overcast or a different location that is not as sunny, you're going to still need to have some protection, and you can still receive sunburn. And I can tell you that I have had to deal with sunburn before in small increments, and it's something that is definitely avoidable just by a little bit of protection. So that is myth number 4. The next category we have is vitamin D. And so myth number 6. What would that be?
I can get all the vitamin D I need from the sun, right?
That is false. I would tell you this. It's optimal to receive your vitamin D from the sun. That is ideal, and receiving it because we receive the vitamin D through our skin. And so that is the best way to absorb the vitamin D and reap the benefits of vitamin D for our skin and our bones and our immune system and just our overall well-being. But it is false to say that that's that you can get everything that you need just from the sun, because depending on where you live, in the Midwest where you might have overcast, Seattle where it's very cloudy, those areas are not going to always be so brightly lit, and so your level of UVB is not going to be as high as maybe someone who lives in California or Florida, somewhere where the sun is always out. So in those areas or locations where it's not always a sunny, bright day, you may need to intake a supplement of some kind to make sure you're getting in the additional vitamin D. And my first suggestion would always be through food and nutrition. So getting those nutrient-rich foods that are going to be high in vitamin D, to eat those opposed to something synthetic. So real food, taking in those vitamins and those supplements that way, along with the sunshine that you're getting, is the first best way. Now, if there is some reason that you have to take an actual synthetic pill or supplement for vitamin D, make sure that it is organic and it is responsibly made. So double check those ingredients and see what it's made out of, so that you make sure that you're getting in exactly what you think you're getting in.
So can you get all the nutrients you need from supplements?
No. So it's kind of hand in hand. They need to work together. We can't get everything we need from a supplement, but if a supplement is needed, again, we want to start with nutrition and food. And if it has to be man-made, then make sure that it is something that is made responsibly. When we're getting everything we need from a supplement standpoint, food and nutrition is the best way to do that. And here are a couple of things I'll read off that are some of the things that we can be eating to make sure that we're getting that. Things like fatty fishes, salmon, tuna, anything that is fortified plant-based, so a plant-based milk, something that you're going to introduce into your diet that will have a high level of vitamin D is going to make sure that you are not in any vitamin D deficiency. So you introduce these as a supplement, and then you also have the sunshine. They work hand in hand together to make sure you're getting overall optimal levels of vitamin D so that you can have overall better health. But you can't get it all from just the sun, and you can't get it all just from the supplement. It's taking a little bit of both. But there's one thing that is right there in the middle that is the thing that I stand on is nutrition. So even if you can't get it all from the sun, add in nutrition. Even if you need to add in a supplement, that comes through nutrition. So eating real foods and eating healthy foods, clean eating, that is going to be your best bet to make sure you're getting in the nutrients that you need to get in your vitamin D. Some of the things to keep in mind when you're talking about supplements, the reason why you can't get it through a synthetic one is because you have to understand that there is a level of absorption for the nutrient, as well as diversity of the nutrients. And diversity is, I can't just use a single supplement to make sure I'm getting in what I need, because when I'm doing it through a healthy, natural food, I'm going to be getting in what I need through fiber, through fatty foods, if you eat animal products, as well as plant-based. And so all of these diverse things are going to work together to make sure that you're getting in a more diverse way of getting in your vitamin D, instead of just one pill, thinking that that's going to give you the diversity you need in your diet, as well as how your body absorbs it. If it's something that is synthetic, you may have a harder time for your body to absorb that and process it and utilize it the way that you need to, outside of the natural things that are made for us to ingest, as well as the natural sunshine that we're enjoying today on this podcast. So it's best to use those two components to make sure that you are absorbing and getting in diverse vitamin D. So there are some benefits that I think we're all aware of, and I know that it works for me this way. You always feel better on a sunshiny day, but two of the main benefits for sunshine and vitamin D are the vitamin D synthesis, and that is the actual process of you creating the vitamin D as your skin is absorbing it and it's stimulated. And so, but some of the things that we may not realize that it helps with, again, is our skin and bone health, and our immune function and mood regulation. You're always in a much better mood on a sunny day, for the most part. It also can adequate vitamin D levels. It can prevent depression, osteoporosis, as well as a certain number of autoimmune diseases, as it helps our autoimmune system. So these are things to keep in mind as a key benefit for vitamin D. The second one, as I mentioned, the mood enhancement, because the sunlight triggers our serotonin. And as those levels increase, it is going to put us in a better mood, and it's associated with feelings of happiness and well-being. And so when you're spending more time outdoors, or you're dealing with increasing your intake of vitamin D, it is going to reduce your stress. It's going to improve your mood, as well as improve your overall health. So it's all good things. Nothing bad about that. All good things to make sure that you are staying on top of getting in your vitamin D. One of the things I want to say, as far as making sure that if you do a supplement, because I know there are tons of them going around right now for vitamin D, is to make sure that you understand the milligrams, where it's made, and some of those ins and outs, what your body actually needs, because we don't want to get into overload where we're actually getting in sunshine, we're getting in the good food that we need, but then we're also taking an additional supplement and, in a sense, ODing our bodies on vitamin D. You need a proper balanced amount. Everything in moderation, everything in its balance. So just keep that in mind for safety reasons. Anything else back there, co-star?
Do you have any strategies for keeping that balance? Like how do you go about doing that?
Yes. So one of the things when you're thinking about making any changes or incorporating something into your diet, make sure that you're paying attention to the nutrients of it. If it's high in vitamin D, that is definitely something you want to add in there. As far as the other topics for sunscreen or sun protection, to make sure that we're protecting ourselves for the UV rays, Always apply sunscreen at the proper SPF, and for your needs, because someone with melanated skin may not have the same needs as someone with a lighter tone. So making sure that you understand what your needs are and then apply it appropriately for that. Second thing is to seek shade or shelter for some of the high sun hours, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., depending on where you live, where it's at its most peak. You may want to make sure that you're staying indoors or in a shaded area so that you don't have prolonged exposure to direct sunlight for too long. And then the third thing is wearing protective gear. I always am an advocate for natural fabrics, cotton, linen. There are things that you can wear long sleeves and still cover up your arms with a natural fabric that is going to allow you to still be cool so that you're not going to be too hot. Also, a wide brim hat, something to cover you that way, is going to give you a level of protection. Again, we're looking for ways to reduce or prevent any harm, but we definitely don't want to block out or completely eliminate or reduce our exposure to the sunshine, because it has way too many benefits, more so than some of the pitfalls. So we want to make sure we're getting in that vitamin D. The last thing I want to go over for UV protection is sunglasses. I didn't mention that, but we also want to protect our eyes from UV rays, and so wearing our sunglasses in areas where it's high sunlight, or where we may find ourselves having to look more directly at the sun, protecting them that way. Anything else back there? Okay. All right, cool. So I want to make sure that you understand these three areas for sunscreen, for sunburn, and for vitamin D. It is important that we get our vitamin D. It is important that we protect ourselves from any harmful rays that are associated with the sun. And when doing so, understand that all skin types and all skin tones can receive sunburn, and that in return creates damage to our skin. So premature aging and things like that can happen when there is damage. So we want to be cognizant of that, and just remember how we want to approach it so that we are being safe as well as being healthy, and making sure that we're getting in the vitamin D through sunshine naturally, and then also clean, healthy foods naturally. So the diversity within our nutrition that we're eating day to day, making sure that we're getting the proper nutrient absorbency from that food is paramount. So those are the most important things. In conclusion, there are a couple things I want to make sure that you are better prepared for when you're going out to these sunny days, that you have the sunglasses on, you have your linen on, you're ready to enjoy yourself this summer. And as we kind of wrap up for the end of our podcast, I want to give you an opportunity to ask some questions before I completely close out. Do you have any questions today? I am watching. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and close out today. I hope you enjoyed this and the extra sunshine. It was nice to have it in a different atmosphere instead of my office, and that you had some valuable takeaways so that you are prepared for the summer days to come. So as we close out Wellness Wednesday, I want you to please comment or DM me any questions or your best tips, what you use when you're out on a summery day. Prioritize your health. Be mindful with your health, and continue to walk in wellness. Thanks so much. God bless. Have a great day.